In November 1954, President Eisenhower approved the secret development of the high-altitude U-2 reconnaissance aircraft. A remote, covert location for its training and testing was needed. That place was found in the southern Nevada desert near a salt flat known as Groom Lake. Known by its map designation as Area 51, the site became a top-secret military base. It's also been referred to as Watertown Strip or Dreamland, and within the intelligence agencies, the area was named Paradise Ranch to encourage workers to move to, quote, the new facility in the middle of nowhere, as the CIA later described it. The U-2 spy plane, the SR-71, and the F-117A stealth fighter, all these secret projects were flight tested out of the facility at Groom Lake. Numerous other black projects are rumored to have been flown out of the base. It was so secretive that the CIA only acknowledged its existence after a Freedom of Information request in 2013. Breaching this area is thought to be impossible. Here are 5 ways in which the U.S. Air Force and CIA plan to defend Area 51. Secret sensors. Sensors proliferate all around Area 51's perimeters. These electronic devices are connected by underground cables, packed in a rugged case, and buried in the dirt. The sensors act individually and collectively as a surveillance system. Similar devices have been spotted in the area in the early 1990s. They were crude and bulky, stashed in the bushes, and easily spotted. The newer sensors are niftier and more clandestine, given away only by a slender antenna poking up through the dirt. It's believed that each device is coded with a 3-digit identifier that can be read off an internal dial and correlate with GPS coordinates. Some of the sensors are located miles from the facility. Chuck Clark is a well-known Area 51 investigator. He and a friend were able to track nearly 100 of these sensors back in 2003. Clark even led a news crew from Las Vegas's KLAS television station into the desert and showed them some of the road sensors. The following week, FBI and Air Force agents raided Clark's trailer home in Rachel, Nevada, and carted off his computer and photographs. The authorities then charged Clark with a single count of interfering with a communication system used for national defense. Clark agreed to, quote, either locate and return the sensor removed on March 12, 2003, or pay restitution to the United States Air Force to replace the missing sensor. In 2013, evidence emerged that newer sensors were being set up around Area 51. A satellite image showed a cement pad with what looked like 2 uprights embedded in it, 2 to 3 crossbeams, and 2 pipes coming up supporting something rectangular. There was speculation that these were sensors aimed at a new threat to Area 51 secrecy: commercial drones. Could these new structures be anti-drone or drone detection devices? That remains unknown. Camo dudes. The already mentioned sensors are especially helpful to the security forces that patrol the 38,000 acres that comprise Area 51 at every hour, every day. These men are famously tough and unrelenting. There's even a valley near Area 51 known ominously as Sniper Hill. Signs everywhere around Area 51 warn that security can use deadly force against intruders. These security forces are dubbed the Camo Dudes, thanks to the military-style camouflage clothes they always wear. What may be surprising, given that Area 51 is a top-secret government facility, is that the Camo Dudes are not members of the U.S. military or the U.S. government. They're essentially private security guards. Area 51's Camo Dudes are employed by AECOM Corporation, a large, very secretive government contractor. AECOM refuses to either confirm or deny that the corporation is a supplier of Camo Dudes to Area 51, but it is. Camo Dudes have plenty of equipment to spy on outsiders. They have long-range viewing devices and night vision gear, and their white pickups are equipped with monitors to keep tabs on the road sensors that monitor movements near the base's perimeters. It's also well known that the radio frequencies used by Camo Dudes are encrypted. Instead of voice communication, one just hears noise. The Camo Dudes are known to even harass and threaten people who are on the public side of the base border, which is actually against the law. And if you're apprehended trespassing on Area 51's property, you'll be handed over to the Lincoln County Sheriff. This is a sheriff notoriously hard on Area 51 tourists. He views anyone found near Area 51 as nothing more than a potential trespasser. Ultimately, the Camo Dudes could be considered Area 51's judges, juries, and executioners. Janet Air, the world's most secret airline. What does a name like Janet have to do with the gung-ho camo dudes of Area 51? Many of the camo dudes live in Las Vegas, the nearest large city to Area 51. Those who live in Vegas have to be flown in and out of the base. Enter the secret Janet flights, which shuttle Area 51 employees back and forth on a daily basis between the facility and a hidden terminal at McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas. It's believed that Janet stands for just another non-existent terminal. Airline call signs fall into two categories. Some are simply the airline's name, like Alitalia 726 Heavy or American 417. Then there are those with more elegant call signs, like Speedbird for British Airways flights, Shamrock for Ireland's Aer Lingus, or Springbok for South African Airways. And then there's Janet. It's a call sign shrouded in mystery. Janet is an airline that isn't really an airline at all, and with a fleet that bears no logos. It has a fleet of a half-dozen nondescript Boeing 737-600s, plus a few Beechcraft 1900s and King Airs. Its Boeing 737s were previously flown by Taiwan's carrier, Air China, and are painted white with a simple red stripe along the window line. Other than a civilian N-number registration, the planes have no other identification. These aircraft sit in front of a simple terminal building in a highly secure compound. It's estimated that between 1,000 and 1,500 people board the airline's planes in Las Vegas every day to be flown to and from Area 51. Even the origin of Janet is uncertain. Some believe it may stand for Joint Air Network for Employee Transportation. Still others say that it's a typically cryptic or just made-up military code name. Others believe it was former Area 51 Commander Richard A. Sampson who picked his wife's name to identify the commuter planes that ferried workers in from Las Vegas and Burbank back in the late 1960s. The homie Janet call sign simply stuck. Janet is now run by the aforementioned giant government contractor AECOM. In 2018, AECOM posted a job opening for First Officer Co-Pilot Las Vegas, Nevada in the company's government business line. The preferred qualifications for the position include Boeing 737 type rating and Boeing 737 experience. Candidates also need to, quote, qualify for and maintain a top-secret government security clearance and associated work location access. Off the map. Ever since its inception, Area 51 has officially not existed on maps of that part of Nevada. However, the secrecy was threatened in early 1974 when the astronauts on Skylab pointed their camera out the windows and took pictures of a facility that did not officially exist. They returned to Earth, and their photographs quickly became a headache for NASA, the CIA, and the Department of Defense. The scope of the scandal was revealed in an internal memo to the then director of the CIA, William Colby, dated April 19, 1974. The memo made clear that the astronauts had been warned not to take photos of that area, yet they did so anyway. Why the Skylab astronauts disobeyed their orders and took the photos is unknown, as are what said photos depicted. The resolution of the image would have been limited, given the technology at the time. Yet it still sent the CIA into a total frenzy. More recently, it was found that even Google Earth chose not to provide satellite images of the facility for 8 years, between 2008 and 2016. Investigative reporters Brendan Byrne and Dhruv Mehrotra of Vice undertook an investigation into how this happened, which they called, quote, a blind spot from the all-seeing corporate monolith continuously mapping the Earth. The authors tried to ascertain the mechanism used by Google in conveniently ignoring Area 51 for 8 years. They were able to acquire one of the images of the dry lake bed from a satellite imaging company for $1,984.50. Google Earth is essentially a mosaic of tiles assembled from aerial and satellite photos. These are often provided by local and federal government, as well as Google itself. Google Earth denied that it somehow censored the area in Nevada. It stated to the authors that, quote, our satellite imagery is licensed from third-party providers who are commercially available and are not the property of Google. We update imagery by prioritizing areas that are most popular with users while complying with local and federal laws. Since then, Google has added 2 years of images to the missing time period, yet 6 years remain without satellite imaging of Area 51 available to the public. Firepower, black helicopters. It's not known whether Area 51 is part of either Edwards Air Force Base in California or the Nellis Air Force Range in Nevada, yet pilots from both bases are forbidden to fly in Area 51's airspace. In fact, pilots who knowingly fly into one of the buffer zones surrounding the facility can reportedly face punishment ranging from a court-martial to dishonorable discharge, and even time in prison as a result. Helicopters are thought to provide additional defense support for Area 51. There were rumors that the helicopter pilots occasionally use illegal tactics like hovering very low over trespassers to harass them. Unsurprisingly, Area 51 is rife with conspiracy theories, one of which is that it's the manufacturing site for the government's infamous black helicopters. There have also been people who claimed they were abducted by black government helicopters for experiments. The theory about black helicopters being both developed and based at Area 51 and used to deter potential intruders is one of the most difficult ones to verify.